And we are live from the heartland and from my heart to yours from the heartland of America. I'm Jeffey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower. Welcome to the channel. Today, a very, very important subject. We're going to talk about Agenda 66. If you never heard of it, don't worry. I think I made it up. But we're talking about Agenda 66, the NWO and the King and the KJV want the same thing. And this opening segment brought to you by my good friends at Mystech. They will put you at the ideal Schumann resonance and keep you there. And I've got a great extravaganza of podcast excellence coming up later today to tell you why all of you people congratulating each other on the Schumann spike have it exactly wrong and need to be very, very careful. But we'll talk about that later today. Now we're going to talk about Agenda 66. It's been staring us in the face for a long time, and we have not seen it. But remember, folks, we're here to help you to remember to unindoctrinate yourself. You are divine. You are sovereign. You are free. You don't have to go on bended knee to anybody's Savior because you're not in need of salvation. You're divine, sovereign, free. You've got the right to life and life more abundantly, and the right to peace that passes all understanding. So let's talk about what we came here to talk about today. And let's get right into it. Your questions are welcome. Your comments are welcome, even if they're not in agreement. But just remember, you have to be polite and don't ride a pony in somebody else's circus. Say it once, let it go. And this is a fear porn free zone. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a fear porn free zone. So let's jump right into this. And I think this is really going to blow your mind. This is going to be more than one show. I think it'll become very apparent very quickly why it's going to be more than one show. But let's take a look and let's see what we got here. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cousins of all ages, Agenda 66. The NWO and the KJV want the same thing, things you forgot to ponder, things you forgot to consider while you were in your slumber. All righty then. Are you ready? Are you ready to rock and roll? Let's do this. So, what is Agenda 66? Well, Agenda 66 is very subtle, yet very plain. And let's look at this. There are 66 books in the Bible, ladies and gentlemen. Did you know that? 66 books in the Bible. And the book of Revelation just happens to be book number 66. How come we've never thought about that before? How come we've never processed that before? How come we've never thought about that before? Why? Revelation is book number 66 in the biblical canon, and that's 1/6 short of a 666, isn't it? And whatever you think that number means, it does have a meaning to you and an emotional connection to you. So Revelation is book number 66 in the New Testament, or excuse me, in the entire Bible. But wait, there's more, because there's 27 books in the New Testament. And guess which one is number 27? Revelation. It's number 27. 2 and 7, you get a 9. If you know anything about numerology and symbology, 6s and 9s are the same thing. They can be inverted. They can be upside down, right side up. You don't really know. So what you get is a 669, which is a 666. So the book of Revelation, really the entire Bible, is Agenda 666. I should have said Agenda 666, but I'll just leave it at Agenda 66 because it's a little bit more for those that are seeking than if we just put Agenda 666 on it. But it's been hidden in plain sight for so long. And as Tracy says in the chat room, it triggers programming. Doesn't really matter what 666 means. Doesn't really matter what 666 is. Just that word triggers programming, and I shouldn't be saying it so much probably, but Agenda 66. Take a look at that. 66 books in the Bible. Revelation is 66. 27 in the New Testament. Revelation is 27. 2 plus 7, 9. 669. Same thing as the 666 number. And then add those up. It's 18. You got another 9. So it's just a self-perpetuating. Okay, 18 plus 6 is 24, which is a 6. Oh, 24 plus 6 is 30. Interesting. But anyway, we don't want to go down that rabbit hole. But very, very interesting stuff. Agenda 66. That's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about Agenda 66. Now, the NWO. You all know what the NWO is. The NWO is the New World Order. It's the cabal. It's the Illuminati. It's the they that we all talk about. It's the they that we all worry about. It's the they that we all lay awake at night. Not me, but sometimes you. And if you're here, you're way ahead of other people. So I salute you for being here. And I'll try to remember that as we go through this. But what does the NWO want? What does the New World Order want? They are not shy. Tracy makes a good point. Everyone says 369 are good because supposedly Tesla said they're good. Everybody knows 369 are good. Oh, really? I don't know. What does the NWO want? Their agenda is very well stated. Their agenda is very well publicized, and they want one world government. They want a one world capital. They want a one world ruler. They want full dictatorial powers. And they want total destruction of all opposition. That's what the New World Order wants. We know this is evil. We know one world government, one world capital, one world ruler, one world currency, full dictatorial powers, total destruction of opposition. We know that's evil. And yet, even though we know it's evil, what does the KJV, the King James Version, predict? And what do all of these prophets out there talking about what's coming, what's going to happen, the signs of the times, it'll never be the same, it's getting worse, it's getting bad. They're all talking about Revelation happening and Matthew happening. We'll be back today to the fact that all the prophecy is one thing and it's history, not future. But they all tell you that certain things are coming. A one world government, and they want it. A one world capital, and they want it. Full dictatorial powers, and they want it. Total destruction of all opposition, and they want it. The King James Version wants it. The King James Version wants it. Is it funny to you that, is it strange to you that the things that the New World Order wants are the exact same things that the King James Version predicts? Here's what the NWO wants. Here's what the KJV predicts. Here's what the NWO wants. Here's what the KJV predicts. Here's what the NWO wants. Here's what the KJV promises. Here's what the NWO wants, and here's what the prophets of the KJV say are coming. But you see, it's all right if it's one world government, if it's their world government. It's all right if it's one world capital, as long as it's their one world capital. It's all right if they got a one world ruler, as long as it's their ruler. It's all right if they got full dictatorial powers, All right. You are just a little piece of shit, and you are now gone for good. Bye. Bye. Anyway, and if this full dictatorial powers are okay if it's them, total destruction of all opposition is okay if it's them. And these prophets, listen to them on YouTube. These ass medias. I could tell you their names, and you can go listen to their words. What are they talking about? Let me make sure I get my wording right. The Manoffs, or Herudistu, has told us he's coming and he's going to establish a kingdom without end. That's one world government. He's going to reign from Jerusalem. That's a one world capital. He's going to be unquestioned ruler. He'll rule the rod of iron. He'll sit on a throne. That's a one world ruler. He's going to, his word, his law will be the law of all the world. That's full dictatorial powers. He's going to totally destroy all opposition. We know that's evil. And yet, Christians root for the one world government that the NWO wants. Only their version of it. Christians root for a one world capital. Christians root for a one world ruler. Christians root for full dictatorial powers. Christians root for total destruction of all opposition. They revel in it. One of these days, all these people that don't agree with us are going to be killed. Yay! We can't wait. The New World Order wants depopulation. So do you Christians. Hear me. Hear me. When you are for killing all the enemies of Herudistu, you're for depopulation. And you're for doing it with a vaccination of blood that flows from Emmanuel's veins. You're for that vaccination. I know this is shocking to you. Most of you have never thought of it in these terms. But exactly what the New World Order wants, you Christians want. You want a one world government. But some of you complaining about President Trump, but it's okay if it's President Heru. You want a one world capital as long as it's Jerusalem. You want a one world ruler as long as it's Herudistu. It's okay to give full dictatorial powers as long as it's your people. And you're for total destruction of all opposition. We're the ones that the NWO wants to get rid of, and you might be the ones that the NWO wants to get rid of, and yet you are still willing to root on a God and his son, allegedly. What if they're gay lovers and not father and son? And you're willing to root on them. You're willing to root them on to their destruction of all opposition. And all of the YouTube ass media are saying the same thing. They've got their AHACs, their BIBLEs, their AHACs. And they're saying this is going to happen and that's going to happen. And what are they saying is going to happen? All the same things that the NWO is saying is going to happen. The MSM is saying it's coming. The NWO say it's coming. And the KJV people say it's coming. Not a coincidence. So what are you saying, Jeff? I'm saying that if you are one of them, you are for the New World Order. And also, what is it when one person rules and tells everybody else what to do? That's dictatorship. That's communism. All of you Christians are for dictatorial communism. Wow. Well, Jeff, how can you prove that? I'm glad you asked. I'm glad you asked. What does the KJV, the King James Version, predict and promise? Well, look in Revelation 19, look in Revelation 20, look in Revelation 21, look in Revelation 22. And you'll see right there. And what do you say? We look at them together. What do you say we look at them together? And we look at them together, keeping in mind the Agenda 66, which is the same thing as the NWO agenda, remember. Same thing, right? Same thing, 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 same thing. Let's look at Revelation 19 and 20 and 21 and 22. It might take a minute. We won't do it all here today, but let's look at this and let's unindoctrinate ourselves. Do you have the guts to unindoctrinate yourself? Do you have the intestinal and testicular fortitude to unindoctrinate yourself? Or are you someone that has itching ears that is going to go find a teacher that tells you what you want to hear? And I guarantee you, every one of them is in full agreement with the NWO KJV Agenda 66. What you going to do now that that little bit of enlightenment has exploded on you, brother? What you going to do now that that light bulb has gone off in your head and you see that you are supporting the same things the NWO is supporting? How's that make you feel, Miss Christian, Mr. Christian, those that are Christians but say they're not? How does that make you feel? I hope it bugs you. I do. I hope it bugs you. Let's take a look, shall we, at what your very own words say. Your book, starting in Revelation 19. After these things, what are these things? A bunch of people here in Revelation 18, millions of people killed. Millions of people killed. Millions of people killed. And what happens? The saints rejoice at the death of billions. The NWO is going to rejoice at the death of billions. And who are you? And what are you? And what kind of an entity are you? You're not human. If you can rejoice at the death of billions of people, whether they agree with you or not, you're ready to kill 5 billion people. You're ready to kill 7 billion people because they don't agree. Let's how many people don't agree with your religion on this earth? Let's say there's 8 now. That's probably a little light. And there's probably at least, let's say there's 4 billion people that don't believe in your religion. Are you willing to kill 4 billion and rejoice about it? Then you're not human. Are you willing to kill 4 billion and rejoice about it? You're not human. Are you willing to kill 3 billion and rejoice about it? You're not human. You willing to kill 2 billion and rejoice about it? You're not human. You willing to kill 1 billion because they don't agree with you and rejoice about it? You are not human. You are something else. You don't have what most of us think of as a soul or a spirit. You're an empty or a possessed vessel of some despicable and some lowly entity. If you can sit by and cheer the killing of billions, how many women, how many boys, how many girls, how many children? And after these things, all of the people of Cork celebrated, and they said, "You're righteous." Not all, see, the people that follow the New World Order, those that follow the New World Order, do you think that they think they're horrible, evil people? Do you think that they sit around and feel bad for themselves and say, oh, we know we want to murder a bunch of people. We're so horrible. We feel so bad about it. No, they don't feel bad about it. They feel just like you Christians do. Yeah, we're going to kill billions of people, but they deserve it because we're better. We're smarter. We believe the right way. And all these other people, we don't care. If you're a Christian and it's okay for you to murder billions and you'll call it righteous, your God murders billions and you call it righteous. You prophets that preach this, you gurus that teach this, you ass media that continually throw this in our faces, and you know who you are, and all of you listening know who they are. The God they preach is going to kill billions of people, and they're going to call it righteous. Just like the leaders of the New World Order want to kill billions of people, and they're going to call it righteous. Your judgments are righteous. You've judged the great whore. It's really easy to tag people with names to make it easier for you to accept killing of billions of people. Oh, we're not going to kill. We're all, yes, the great whore has to die, says you Christians. Oh, yes, the useless eaters have to die, say you NWO people. The great whore has to die, says you KJV people. A lot easier than saying billions of people have to die because they don't agree with me. A little easier on you, isn't it? Your hands are just as bloody. Your spirit is just as guilty. And you'll pay the same high price because there's no escape for cheering on and supporting the murder of billions. There's no escape from that without a judgment of spirituality, a judgment of energetic proportions, which beggar description. But they corrupted everything. Probably problem is you define corrupt as you didn't agree with them. How do you think the New World Order defines us? Corrupt. They were just a bunch of fornicators. How do you think the New World Order defines us? Fornicators. They were trying to kill the true servants. How do you think the New World Order says they were trying to do? Watch how sick this is, and you're just like them. The smoke of their torment and the burning of their bodies rises up forever and ever. And you know what the Christians say? They say, can you smell what our courts got cooking? Finger licking good. We know billions were killed, but we like it. You're not human. You're a subhuman entity, devoid of empathy, devoid of true spirituality. I don't know what you are, but you're not human if you're like that. And there's no difference between you and the NWO either. And what do you do when he kills everybody? You worship him. What are they going to do with the elite when everybody gets killed? If the NWO gets their way, they're going to worship them. Why? Because our one world ruler rules omnipotently. We're so happy because our one world ruler is in charge. How can you tell the difference between the NWO and the KJV? You can't. You can't. About the only chance you got is to have your Mystech bracelets, which are going to put you at the Schumann resonance, the natural Schumann resonance. We'll talk about that later today. They're going to clear out the chaos and allow you to see what's right before your eyes. They'll get your body physically aligned. They'll get you spiritually tuned in. That's why that's why the people that make jokes about this hate it, because they don't want to be faced with the reality of what they're facing. But you can go to jeffreydaugherty.com. You can click on the Mistech logo or the tab, and you still get a full 20% off, ladies and gentlemen, a full 20% off. And you also get a great discount on the C60 Purple Power. It's the fountain of youth, yes, but more importantly, in these days, it's a solid foundation of a impenetrable, nearly, immune system. Cliff I was dying, said it saved his life. His wife was dying, says it saved her life. This brand, www.c60purplepower.com, TCW10, and you don't even need reading glasses anymore. That's pretty cool. Our God killed everybody else, and he reigns. Our leader killed everybody else, and they reign. So let's be glad and rejoice, just like the NWO people are going to do. They're going to be glad and rejoice. It's like as if Hillary got elected in 2016. That's the kind of be glad and rejoice they'll be when the NWO wins. And that's the same kind of be glad and rejoice that you subhuman, non-human Christians are going to do when your God wins. And then you know what you're going to do? You're going to lay down and spread your legs for him, just like a good little bride on the honeymoon. I didn't write it, he did. You're going to be the bride. You know what happens to brides? You know what grooms do to brides on wedding nights? Oh, does that make you a little uncomfortable, my Christian friends? It happens in the NWO. Why wouldn't it happen in the KJV? And they said it's going to happen. What do you think a groom does to a bride after the big reception dinner on the honeymoon night? How do you like that imagery, my Christian friend? Oh, but I'm a man. Paid much attention to the Christian clergy yet lately? Do you really think the clergy is any different than the God? Y'all gonna have a special kind of party. Ooh, boy. Better drink a lot drink a lot of wine at that supper. You're gonna need it. And you better hope he doesn't forget his oil. You better hope his vessel's filled with oil, or it's gonna be even more painful. What's the matter? You don't like plain talk? Oh, it's all right for you to talk about murdering billions of people that don't agree with you, but I use a little plain talk about what he tells you he's going to do you, and it bothers you? Sorry, snowflake. That's what's coming down the pipe, and you think you get it for free? Ain't nobody ride free, sweetheart. Nobody rides free. And just to make sure, he sends out a rider who goes, oh, the white horse, the white horse. What's the white horse do? Judges and makes war. Oh, Trump is terrible. He wants to make war, even though he doesn't. But it's okay for you, for your guy to go and make war. He's got crowns. He won't even tell you his real name. You are going to let some guy screw you, and he's not even telling you his real name. And you're not getting paid. I was going to say you're a whore, but you're a slut. Wow. He's covered with blood that comes from hemorrhaging of people's veins. He's smiting the nations. When the NWO wants to smite the nations, it's terrible. It's bad. But when your guy wants to smite the nations, it's holy. And you call me Antichrist. You call me devil. Your guy wants to smite the nations just like the NWO wants to smite the nations, and I've got the problem. I don't think so. Your guy wants to rule with a rod of iron. when the NWO wants to do that, it's bad. You're against it. You're all divine, sovereign, free, anarchy. We got our rights. We're not taking martial law. But you'll take it when your guy wants to give it, just like you'll bend over for him and spread your cheeks. You're about to become real acquainted with a rod of iron. When the NWO responds with fierceness and wrath, they're bad. But when your guy does it, he's almighty. When the NWO wants to kill kings and captains and mighty men and the flesh of both all small and great, they're bad. They're killers. They're murderers. But when your guy wants to do it, you want to sing him a little song. And when your guy, the NWO, they just want to kill people. But your guy not only wants to kill people, he wants to cast them into a lake of fire. Alive in a lake of fire. Because the NWO, they're nasty. They want to kill people. Your guy's even nastier because he wants to go beyond killing people. He wants to kill people forever and ever 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 and ever. He can't do it, but he wants to do it, and you're excited to help him do it. You're all excited to help him do it. That's Revelation 19. What does Revelation 19 show us, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cousins of all ages? Revelation 19 shows us, without a shadow of a doubt, by its own writing, that what the NWO wants, the KJV wants. What the KJV wants, NWO wants, and what they want, YOU want, if you're a Christian. If you are sympathetic to that system. But Jeff, why would God? God didn't do it. Rome wrote it. Keep up. It makes perfect sense when Rome wrote it. How much of this are you willing to take? How much of this are you willing to take? Do we do one more? Do we do Revelation 20? Break it up into 2 shows maybe? Why not? Agenda 66, Revelation 20. And as we move into the 3rd segment of our fantastic show, remember that you are at home for at least another couple weeks, right? What a better time than to get yourself some high consciousness on demand. You've wondered about focused life force energy. You've griped about it, moaned about it, but you still can't get it out of your mind. Why don't you try it for free? 15 days on your phone, 15 days in your home. You're there anyway. Now you'll really be able to know, does it work? Or just get it. It's $35. You're going to waste more on that. Probably sending money to idiots that are preaching NWO KJV stuff to you. What do you say we have just a little bit of a reprieve here before we go into 20? Let me give you some information that might be a little bit more. Well, let's give you some shocking information. Then we're going to give you a kind of a funny, lighthearted share. So let's go to my Twitter page. And if you want to follow me on Twitter, it's at unindoctrinate. And this is really shocking right here, folks. This is shocking. You can see that Tracy Dyer sent it to me. And it's from a person called DJ Patriot. Billionaire pharmaceutical company founder Barry and his wife Honey Sherman murdered in their Toronto home December 15, 2017. President Trump, new in the White House. Oh my gosh, he really won. What are we going to do? time to start kicking in the insurance policy. I told you yesterday the insurance policy is this dosum whist, meant to crash the economy, meant to make everything fall apart all at once. And surely Trump can't handle that. He's an idiot, and yet his poll ratings are higher than they've ever been. Are you saying Trump's going to save us all? Yeah, I am. That's good news. Be encouraged. Be helpful. It's going to be better than it's ever been. And you know what the good thing is? Even if I'm wrong, you got to feel good for a while instead of wanting to slit your wrists from now until you really do. And they were killed in their home. They owned Apotex, a manufacturer of generic drugs. But he was a billionaire. It's all right to be a billionaire if you do it by honest means. A billionaire selling generic drugs. Do you know what generic drugs are? Just as effective and cheap as shit. Do I care if this guy manufactured generic drugs that worked really good and he made some money on it? No. I applaud him. They made hydroxychloroquine. You remember that? The drug that it now looks like cures this dosum whist, they're telling us. And they were murdered December 15, 2017. But I'm sure that is just a coincidence, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure that's just a coincidence. And let's get a little relief, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get a little comic relief here. This is a tweet that I put up. A little tweet that I put up. And I entitled it, I think very, very appropriately, I entitled it, Governor in the Streets, Freak in the Sheets. Fredo's brother showing off on national TV his nipple rings. Oh, gross. Is that a shaming ritual? I guarantee you people stopped him and said, Mr. Governor, you can't go on TV like that. Your nipple rings are showing. Is it a shaming ritual on Fredo's brother? Or is it some type of a statement that is embracing and promoting a certain type of lifestyle? Whatever it is, it made me throw up a little bit in my mouth, but then I laughed. So I thought I would share that with you all as a public service. How was it for you? Was it good for you? Oh, boy. So now, Revelation 20, Agenda 66. Let's look at Revelation 20, ladies and gentlemen. 19 was so much fun. Let's go to Revelation 20, because I'm sure it's going to be just as fun. Are you ready? Are you ready? I hope you are. Just here we go. And it's actually a nice segue. I didn't plan this because Fredo's got the nipple rings and your God is into bondage, apparently. And you got to remember what they're saying here. You got to remember what they're saying here. Satan is bound 1,000 years. But remember who wrote this. And remember what Satan really means. Remember what Satan really means. Satan, the adversary. Satan, an adversary. One who is an adversary. Adversary, enemy against what? Against their NWO, against their KJV. So who do they really want to bind in a bottomless pit with a chain? Everybody that is adversarial to their way of thinking. everybody that's adversarial to their way of believing, everybody that's not willing to bend the knee and spread the cheeks. Everybody who's not willing, think about that, to bend the knee and then to bend over and spread the cheeks. Anybody not willing to do that, you're an adversary. You deserve to die, both in the NWO world and the KJV world. What a great bunch of people you guys are. You're not people. You're not human. You're something else. And they bound them for 1,000 years. And we've talked about that. And maybe that's the real problem here, is that this 1,000 years, tick-tock, tick-tock, tick-tock. Tick-tock NWO, tick-tock KJV. Tick-tock, your 1,000 years is tick-tocking away. And the thing that really frightens you is the end is near, but it's your end, not ours. Bad times are coming, but only for you, not for us. The end is coming. Distress, terrible collapse is coming for you because you're part of this system. You had 1,000 years, couldn't get it done. Now it's time to have some fun. For us, not for you, because you're through, you're done, you're over. Spiritually, energetically, you will be overcome and put in your place. You're done. If you're smart, you'd clean out your stuff and disappear, but you won't. But we'll be around. And if you're not an adversary, they say that we'll let you reign with us, but only if you're not an adversary. And everybody that we killed, killing them once isn't enough for you, for this God. Killing them once isn't enough for, killing them once is enough for NWO people, but not for KJV people. Because they're going to kill them once, but then they're going to resurrect them again and kill them again. Because you're a special kind of sick. You're a special kind of twisted. And you've had your 1,000 years. I hope you enjoyed it, because it's about to come to an end. But don't worry, we don't believe in butchering. We don't believe in killing. We're not like that. We're humans. We're divine. We're sovereign. We're free. We have something in us that you don't. We've got the spark of divinity. And we know how to excel and live and grow more than you do. I'm going to answer this on air because it's Halo. Hey, Halo. Hey, brother. Hey, listen, I'm on the air live right now. I just want to ask you a quick question, okay? You know, we know how the Schumann resonance is supposed to be the Schumann resonance, right? And when it goes way, way high, that's like your temperature going way, way high. You don't want that. Now, a lot of these people did this big meditation thing the other day, and the Schumann resonance went way, way, way up, and they say that's good. How can it be good? Yeah.
So if we're in a spot where, like, if you take the 5G thing that's at the 60 hertz,
yeah,
if we're seeing on this meter something that's at like 4,000, that's so far above and beyond that at that very high macro conscious scale, because the number's so high, that would make sense.
But how can it all of a sudden be good if it's real high when if our temperature's real high, if our heart rate's real high, we know that's bad?
Yeah, and okay, man, beautiful question. So check this out. When your body gets sick or
and you're on the air, by the way.
Yeah, beautiful, no problem. It has a pollutant in it of some sort. Your body heats up. That active heating up is the healing process itself. Medicine and all that gets scared of it and goes, oh, we got to get this fever down. That fever is what's healing the body. So it's not good for it to be there all the time. by any means. But in the same way that our temperature spikes up to fight this fever, to kill off this virus, to get things back to where it's supposed to be, it has to get really, really hot and make it uncomfortable for the things that are beating the virus. So unfortunately, if that's us for the planet, then it's not a good thing for us. But we, in my opinion, as the energetic people of this planet, the carekeepers, this is who we are. We should be more concerned with, is it good for the planet more than is it good for us? Because if we're doing what's good for the planet, it is going to be good for us. When we're seeing these things that look like an attack on us, this is a retaliation from things that we're doing incorrectly.
So it's possible then that the big spike in the Schumann resonance was a positive manifestation in the end.
Absolutely. And I'm, me, man, I look at all sorts of different versions of what's good and what's bad. And to me, the potential of, let's say that it was everyone doing it, whether it's good or bad, let's acknowledge the fact that, however many million people that were doing this actually had a visual effect. So that means that we do have the ability to change something that is on a much larger scale to be able to read. That's a positive all by itself, whether it does anything in and itself or not. So
even if we were screwing something up, it shows that we can have a big effect.
Exactly.
I love it.
Again, you know me, man. I'm not a big person of they're the same thing, but there are definitely times on these meditations versus the cosmic events. Like when you see a spike, when there's a meteor shower or a comet, okay, everyone's getting their phones out, everyone's doing research, everyone's looking it up. But when it's someone that's, it's mass worldwide meditation, that's the lack of electronics. So if we're seeing a spike when that happens, that's a completely different ballgame than what we're talking about before.
Good stuff, Halo. I appreciate it, brother. I'll get back with you. That's basically what I wanted to ask, because I was of the opinion that how can it be good if it goes up? That should be bad. Maybe we were screwing up. But even if we did screw up.
If it's going up permanently, that's terrible. We've talked about this on the show before. I really think we're accidentally on purpose terraforming our planet to not be conducive for the human being anymore and for something else.
Gotcha.
So if it stays high like that, then yeah, that's terrible. But in the same way that our fever can spike up to clear out whatever's bad, that can definitely happen with our Schumann resonance as well.
Halo, that you're forcing me to think that I might have possibly almost made a mistake. I didn't, because I talked to you first, but I could have almost been wrong.
No, and me too, man. This is my best understanding. You know what I mean? And this is what most of the math and science is up to. So we're going to keep getting it wrong until we get it right. But as long as we keep putting in the effort and intent behind it, we're doing our work, man.
All right. We're just a couple guys trying to change the world, right, brother?
Every day.
All right. Love you. Talk to you soon.
All right, brother. Love you. Bye.
So there's a little bonus, ladies and gentlemen. A little bonus. So interesting. So that's some good stuff. And I think that we might go ahead and just use that to segue right into the chat room. And we will come back and finish Revelation 20 another day. How's that sound, folks? All righty. So let's go into the chat room and let's see what everybody has to say about all this. This should at least be interesting. He does love those burnt offerings, doesn't he, Jermaine? Makes you go, And yet the majority of the sheeple still trust the clergy, and the ones that don't trust the clergy in disguise. The ones that say they're not clergy but are. The ones that say they're not clergy but still tell you what to do. The ones that say they're not clergy but still tell you what to think. The ones that say they're not clergy but still tell you this is what's going to happen, thus saith the whoever. They're still clergy. And they still want you to respect them like clergy too. Never, ever forget that. Never, ever forget that. Let's see. Rome did invent Christianity. No doubt about it. Thanks for the backup on that, Perry. I appreciate it. And Judaism and Islam. I'm still looking for the proof on Islam, but I'm getting really, really close. Mini Doc makes Cynthia's skin crawl. Absolutely. Let's see. Jesuit education is indicative of nothing. Lots of people go to Jesuit schools because there's lots of Jesuit schools. Being on faculty at a Jesuit university, working for a Jesuit university, being a big contributor to a Jesuit university, that's different. Going to a Jesuit university doesn't make you a Jesuit any more than going to Walmart makes you a Walton. Think about it. You'll get to what I'm meaning there. Let's see. Drug cures a lot of other stuff. That one that we're talking about, yes, it does. Let's see what else we got. Boom, 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 boom. They were murdered in December. Yep. Ooh, terrible stuff. Terrible, terrible stuff. 2017. That's right. Keep going. Lots of good comments. Lots of good comments. Lots of good comments. My heart is heavy for those people. It should be. That proves that you're a human. The deep state is so evil. I don't care how many die worldwide to stop President Trump. They don't care. They're willing to kill millions of people. Whether this thing is real or not, and you know how I feel about it, they were willing to kill millions of people with this. They were willing to crash the global economy for this. They were willing to lock you in your house for this and steal your peace. Why? So they could prevent Donald Trump from being elected again. How can you see all of the New World Order wanting to bring Trump down and not want to vote for him again? Oh, because you're just like them, because you're KJV. I get it. I get it. Or a KJV in disguise. I get it. I get it. All right. I get it. Wow. 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 I think the 1,000 years is up. That's why I was saying TikTok, Tracy. I really do. I really do. They're in tribulation. We're in celebration. Celebrate good times. Come on, let's do it. Let's get our groove on. It's our time. We're the last generation of real humans, and we about to party. That's what I'm talking about. Like Rich says, time's up. Time's up. Wow, that's awesome, ladies and gentlemen. I love it. I love it. I don't know much about Star Wars, but David says that in Star Wars, Order 66 was to kill the Jedi. Who's the Jedi? This guy. You, look in the mirror. We're the Jedi. Agenda 66. They want to kill us. KJV wants you dead, just like NWO. How does that make you feel if you're an KJV person and now you know you're NWO? Ooh, what you going to do now that truth is broken out all over you? I just ruined your day, didn't I? Good. That's what I'm here for. That's what I'm here for. To get you thinking. BDSM, self-bondage, doesn't sound like a lot of fun. Doesn't sound like a lot of fun. Christopher says, and I think this is a good point, it has been spiking a lot anyway. Was it part of the meditation? I don't know. I think that's reaching. I really do. Plus, there was a lot of people freaking out at that time. I think I don't think the data's definitive enough for you to be able to say, oh, it was us and it was good. We just don't know. But you New Agers, you New Cagers, you KJVs, you NWOs, you'll grab any little scrap because you're sluts. It's just the way it is. PJ couldn't figure out how the innocent blood being shed over Christ. And the mom said, don't worry about it. Because it can't be explained, folks. Heartwalker echoing a halo very, very well. No chemtrails in Italy today. That's interesting. That's interesting. I like it. I like it. And can I just say that if you're a KJV person and you're hooked up with the NWO persons, I don't know if unity with you is such a good thing. And I don't know if meditating with you is such a good thing either. I'm not quite sure I want to join what I got with what you got. I'm not quite sure I want what you got in me. I'm not quite sure I want to be exposed to your KJV NWO BS. In fact, I'm quite sure I don't. I'm quite sure I don't. Now that we've made that clear, let's see. I keep hearing about Imperial March. I don't know. I haven't. People get brainwashed by the mainstream. Oh, do you think that President Trump doesn't own the mainstream media? President Trump has destroyed the mainstream media. That's why it's so good for us right now. So good for us right now. Step off the fear porn ledge and nobody gets hurt. Nobody gets hurt. I so want to enjoy talking about that, but I'm not. I'm just going to let it go. See, I'm using control right now. I'm trying to be nice because I know that people are here. And if they're here, wow, they're hearing some stuff they'll never hear anywhere else. So I'm just going to breathe in a little musaw, a little serenity now and just say, okay. Nice to have you all here. I hope that you're here. I know you've heard some stuff that you haven't heard before. But you're going to hear it again. Chuck says, yes, the 1,000-year reign is coming to an end. Thank you for validating it for me, Chuck. Whenever we hear what we know, it does help to validate it. No doubt about it. And Cynthia made a good point today. Remember when Nancy, all these things mean things. Nancy tried to sneak in the Obama phones into the emergency payoff. I don't like them giving you $1,200. I really don't. But I mean, the Democrats have been buying votes for so many years. Okay, I'll look the other way this time. Is that partisan? Maybe, but it is the way it is. But she wanted to put Obama phones in there. Give everybody an Obama phone again. Free phones. And Cynthia made a brilliant point. Do you think that she did that because she wanted to track everybody? Ooh, that is really interesting. Really interesting. Ryan, you have not heard the last of President Trump and what he's doing with 5G. Don't go off the reservation. Don't jump off the ledge. Don't slit your wrists. Don't make yourself a eunuch. Take a deep breath. It'll be okay, I promise, because we haven't seen the end of it yet. Christianity is about to come to a tragic end and find a great end for us. Absolutely, I agree. 100%. 100%. Well, why did you buy an iPhone then? Get yourself a Samsung like the smart kids got. Jameis says, yes, it's for tracking. Material classified, good point. It was a great point. So we've still got some more good stuff coming to you later this afternoon. I got to process what Halo told me. Oh, Ryan saying he's done an amazing job. I'm with you, brother. I'm with you either way, but that's okay. 5G is probably not what we've been feared into believing. 5G might have initially meant to be something really, really bad for us. But I was just saying this to Cynthia earlier. I got it, and I can't explain it. I can't defend it. I can't give you any data yet, but there's just something in the back of my head, way back here, that's saying, Jeff, he's doing something with it to turn it on them. He's taken the 5G that meant to destroy us. 5G might have been initiated as an NWO take down the good guys weapon, but he's art of the game in it. He's art of the game in it. I'm telling you, there's going to be a positive or at least a non-lethal outcome of 5G, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm going to get into it, and I'm going to dive into it, and I'm going to research it. I have a tech background. I'm going to look at it. I'm going to dissect it. I'm going to take it apart, and we're going to find out. China meant it for bad, said Tracy Dyer. Trump will ensure that it's turned for good. I agree. 5G was meant to be used for CCTV. I'll ask Cynthia how she knows that when we get off the air. Please do an Easter Passover special. Why? Why? I hate to bash people's Easter, but I probably should do it, and I probably will do it. I will do it. This is a really good point here. President Trump has a lot of new powers now. He can reallocate the funds. He can take over and make them do things they didn't want to do. Make them do things they didn't want to do now. It's not so bad if you keep it within 60 hertz. I don't know, but I'm just telling you, I am going to research it, and I think you're going to be really, really surprised. Heartwalker says, I've heard there's two sides. There usually are. I have a good feeling with Trump in charge. I do too. We called so hard last Holy Week. We really did. We did. He's constantly saying how it's his number one priority is saving human lives. Good stuff, ladies and gentlemen. Good stuff. Oh, Yahweh like Yahweh. That's interesting. Really interesting. Good one, Dominator. Ladies and gentlemen, wow. And I'm not going to say 5G anymore. I'm going to say G5. Partially in honor of the president, because they meant for 5G to be bad, and he's going to turn it into G5, which turns around bad intention into good. Plus, I'm going to take away any possible energetic emanation from that term. So G5 and President Trump. I'm not a dummy when I say G5 instead of the other one, but we'll be tuned in. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cousins of all ages. Yeah, it's a damn hard thing when it's much, much easier to fool someone and very, very hard to convince them that they've been fooled, because people want to be fooled. People want to be fooled, and I don't get it. But the hardest thing is the thing that we do. It's just give people information and let them figure it out themselves. But that's the only way they get off the reincarnation wheel. And that's the only way that change is real. We're here for one thing, to help you unindoctrinate yourself. We are the last generation of real humans. And we've been raised up for a time like this, with the world going to hell around us in everybody's eyes. We're here to show all these KJV, all of these NWO, all of these blood poison infected people, what it looks like when you unindoctrinate yourself and you win, and then you win again. It ain't easy, but anything good never is. So let's unindoctrinate ourselves and let's get busy.